These Roam heroes are going to be left up. We should be going into the draft as soon as possible. And here we go. So this time WEV will have first ban, first pick. So are they going to stick to the black feather ban that we saw in game one? Maybe try and take away the Arden first pick for themselves. And we probably won't see that Catherine.
No way.
Ringo.
Yeah, no way they banned Catherine there just because they want to have either Arden or Catherine. So Liege here will not have Ringo this time around. But we do have, of course, Arden up at this point. Sky is available, and there we do see Liege hovering on that Sky. They pick it once again.
So 2 first-round drafts of Sky. That means the Arden does go over to GankStars, something they'll be happy to have, and it's going to be Arden Kestrel again. So even though they've given up the Catherine in this game, they are going to test their mettle one more time. Now that we will have WEV with better engage this time and the targeted hard CC, so it will be more difficult for Rocky Zoro to play this Kestrel, presuming that it is his pick.
And will we see a Koshka pick here? No, a Celeste, in fact, going very, very heavy on the crystal damage. Just going to use only Catherine for that engage. Celeste pretty decent at getting Heliogenesis down and doing that damage so that Call or Araki can't really do that poke damage as well.
Yeah, that's right. I think this is really just a pick to trade poke, because once you overdrive the Heliogenesis, then you do have comparable range to the Kestrel. So nice adaptation here from WEV. They have the engage. They have some counter poke this time. Meanwhile, GankStars takes the glaive and drafts the exact same composition as we get into game number 2. They're not going to switch it up just yet. Welcome to game number 2, Korea's WEV taking on North America's GankStars for the 3rd place here at the VIPL Season 2. WEV currently down 0-1, but they have better tools this time from the draft to deal with the same composition coming in from GankStars.
Yeah, I played a bit with Kestrel once she did come out. The heroes that I had the most trouble with in terms of getting away, because if you don't have that active camo, you essentially have no escape. You have to rely on your allies, which is obviously much harder to do in solo queue. Having Gabe Vizzle on Arden is definitely going to be make it much more pleasant for Rocky Zoro, but I definitely had a lot of trouble with heroes like Glaive, like Black Feather, that could jump into the back line and get right on top of you so that you really had no escape, and essentially outdamage you as well. Rocky Zoro on that Kestrel is really mostly about that sustained damage with the Kestrel, but if you can get bursted down quick, as someone like a Celeste could do, or a Sky-Celeste combination, it could also have a bit of a hard time.
Now we see the same thing happening as last game. GankStars looking for the lane gank and giving up the forward part of their jungle. WEV is going to march all the way into the back camps once again. So very similar start, except this time we do see Liege moving in to that side of the jungle as well before just backing off. So nice early invade, but that's going to be red, and Cold and Meek simply going to walk into the enemy back camp at the same time while Iraqi and Gabe take over the lane.
And Gabe can just sit here, get that XP, and gain the gold from the Iron God contract in the lane instead. Gain more gold overall and just protect Rocky Zoro just in case.
It's a little tap right there with the blood for blood from Gabe. And they're just going to keep pushing this lane up. So basically just trading the jungle right now. Golden Meek in a bit of trouble, but he does have that afterburn to get out. They're actually going to choose to fight this. Vanguard going down, and they're going to get a kill. Golden Meek is going to get hit by that core collapse and afterburn out. So there's no kill yet coming back for WEV. Rocky Zoro, however, getting very low, and he is going to fall. Golden Meek goes second, walking back in instead of taking the safe path out and recalling. Gabe trying to get out with his Vanguard speed boost, but he's going to die. No ace, however, since we do see Cole and Rocky Zoro back up with those short death timers, and we're still even on gold.
Yeah, even on gold, but getting those kills here going to allow WEV to farm out their jungle a bit quicker. They did have a couple of their scout traps in the middle of the map get procced. Overall, it started out well, but you can see once it goes 1v1 between Kestrel and Sky, Sky is going to come out ahead nearly all the time. Of course, Bouhet comes in and does get the stun down just to lock down that kill, but you can begin to see how this composition for WEV will have a much easier time of dealing with Kestrel this time around.
Yeah, the one issue that they're going to have is, of course, all that crystal power means that it's easy to itemize against with the shield, but in GankStars it's going to be running a mixed damage composition, so harder to buy defensive items in that particular instance. But otherwise, we're still pretty much even here. No big advantages taken yet. And we do see WEV once again moving into counter jungle just a little bit while the wave is pushed up towards GankStars' turret. Taking a look for those backs, and now Liege is going to be the target of a gank, and that's what happens with this glaive in lane. Very easy to get behind your target, push him forward right into the waiting hands of Iraqi Zoro.
Yeah, this is one of the few times that getting a kill this early on at just 3:45 will actually really pay off for your team, but because WEV is so aggressive with their jungle invade right now that they leave the lane totally open once Sky goes down. So that's going to be a very early turret kill going to GankStars.
That's actually huge because then you can push the wave forward, get control of the gold miner, and yeah. I think GankStars reacted very well. They saw what WEV was doing last game, playing so aggressively on the counter jungle, and they just punish it by a siege. Quick gank and a siege, make short work of Liege, and then take a nice gold lead here early on in the game.
Yeah, and I think that maybe also GankStars learned a bit from their game against Ardent. Again, talking about that game too, where they dove the turret and tried to go for 2 kills. This time around, obviously, there's no one to kill, but I feel like going for the turret and getting that damage down, or at least putting pressure on the lane, is going to be so much more important than picking up a couple of kills that you may not even get. And in fact, GankStars wasn't able to pick up either of those kills in that game against Ardent.
And here we go, push the lane all the way up to the tier 2, and then go ahead and try and take this gold miner. It is falling very quickly. That's going to be a nice gold payout for GankStars. Here at 5 minutes in, so they start getting that control early, and we can simply see much of the same things that they did last game, slowly moving the wave forward, taking the turret, and then moving out. Just an ultimate there coming from Kestrel to make sure WEV isn't going to be sieging.
Just spot that brush a bit for Call the Meek, allow him to get back quickly and defend that turret. And I think the game is kind of going to normalize from here. GankStars definitely in the lead. Lots of scout traps down that WEV is actually not doing a great job of clearing right now. In fact, both Sky and Catherine were spotted going to that shop, and that scout trap is still there around that shop. That's a very common location. They really need to clear that one out.
Yeah, but it's hard to, you can waste a lot of time checking all the locations that may have vision on your camps, but getting those deep, the deep traps in is pretty important to making decisions. As we can see, Gabe is putting a trap right there where most people will not check as they take that forward healing camp. Meanwhile, GankStars simply moving back to push up the lane as a unit, and pretty much, I mean, same comp, same strategy as last game. Push, take over the jungle, and then poke when possible.
Yeah. I think the game plan here for WEV is to just sit back and play as passively as possible. As weird as that sounds, they really just need to farm and hit their mid-game stride with this composition of Sky and Celeste, because if they try to fight now against a Glaive that is just getting his tension bow plus a kinetic shield and a Kestrel that just hit Frostburn, you're not going to win. You're going to lose another turret, you're going to give up a lot of time in that gold mine, and I feel like they just need to farm and wait for that later game.
Well, yeah, and especially we need Mango to have that final 5th point, the overdrive into the Heliogenesis, just to match the range coming through. Kolomik afterburns out of that one. Just uses sprint boots as well. But it comes down to Mango just getting that final point in Heliogenesis so they can trade the poke. Minion Candy down on the gold miner right now as GankStars looks to defend. Flare in their tri-brush from WEV.
Mango just hit 8 right now, so has overdrive the Heliogenesis. I think this is when they're going to begin to put on a bit of pressure.
And there we go, Coldamik gonna come in with the afterburn, trying to make it over to Gabe, who will get the Vanguard off, And now we see the first fight. Death from above will get the stun onto Koldemeek, but he will just cleanse that off. Now Liege is going to barely survive thanks to a reflex block and no ult kill there from Iraqi. Iraqi's still moving in with the help of his sprint boots. He wants some more poke. He's going to get it onto Puet. Nice kill. Coming in for Iraqi. It's going to even up the kill count right now, and they're going to sweep through the jungle and take everything.
Yeah, really nice job of making something of a team fight that wasn't looking like much. They were able to effectively route WEV back to their turrets, but they really do need a couple of kills to just secure more time for their gold mine, put more pressure on the turrets, and more importantly even, steal the entire jungle of WEV. What I was talking about before is WEV really needs to farm up, but they can't if a lot of their minions are taken.
Yeah, it looked like a questionable start to this fight, but Koldemeek just gets over to Gabe in time to receive the Vanguard and do enough damage. And meanwhile, another great performance from Iraqi Zoro, just getting the speed boost from the Vanguard and finishing off with a few glimmer shots. And here we go again. As we see Puet falling there, does get caught out of position. Mango has to dodge a one shot, one kill, and now GankStars straight back in to siege position as they poke Mango off the turret.
Yeah, we're beginning to see what happens when WEV moves away from their turrets at this point in time. That Celeste really helps out. The Celeste-Sky combination helps out with stopping the siege of GankStars, but if they're constantly getting caught out away from their turrets, this composition is just never going to work.
Yeah, and you see how fast those glimmer shots come in too. So it does make it challenging to stop the damage if you get even a little bit out of position. So GankStars now protecting the gold miner as it ticks down to a 300 payout. Who are trying to zone them off so they can at least get some map control back. There's the gold payout, and that's a lot more money in the bank for GankStars.
Yeah, up about nearly 4,000 gold at this point. Keep in mind, well, let's take a look at this replay first. We see how this fight went down. WEV just trying to get closer to that turret, possibly siege it, but GankStars jumps on top of them with Cull. They all take a lot of damage, and in fact, it looked like Liege and Mango could have even gone down in that fight, but they both escape. Puhet taking the death instead.
GankStars just hovering around that gold miner once again, making sure they deny as much as they can from their opponents. Back into lane, at least right now. Gabe's going to go ahead and check that. We'll get found out. Take a little bit of damage up front from the forward barrage of Liege. And it looks like they may be able to successfully farm their back camps this time. A little farming over the wall thanks to the scout trap vision for Rocky Zoro. Here we go again. More poking. Heliogenesis able to answer this time. Nice Nova.
Yeah, this is what you were talking about exactly. Rocky Zoro tries to put on some poke, but then Mango trades it right back. And as long as he can consistently do this and they can effectively avoid the afterburn and full-on engage from that Glaive Ardent composition, they should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like WEV's finally figured it out, just sticking together near their turret. Now they will have to sacrifice a lot of their jungle, but at least this keeps them in the game, and they need to just stretch this out as long as they can so that they have a chance of coming back in the late game.
Yeah.
Still don't really see much shield aside from the Fountain of Renewal on GankStars, so they're not very well equipped to deal with the damage at least coming in from Sky and Celeste.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Specifically on Iraqi Zoro, double Fountain of Renewal, I suppose, is going to be the choice in terms of sustain. Oh boy, Sky is not the one to trade against that Kestrel. It's got to be Celeste.
Not just, Sky doesn't have the range. Another chunk of damage going down. Gate Fizzle coming in with the gauntlet, and here we go. There's not a kill quite, but Celeste gets afterburned straight into Iraqi Zoro. And that's another couple of kills for GankStars. It's going to be another turret, maybe two, considering how fast Iraqi can chunk out turrets right now with that Glimmer Shot. And here we go. Churning through that turret very quickly. Two turrets, huge gold swing as GankStars moves out to about 7,000 ahead.
Yeah, we're beginning to see some of the weaknesses of WEV just as a team. It seems that they really do collapse under pressure. Once they are getting sieged near their turret, it doesn't seem like they 100% know how to effectively engage and defend their turrets. I'm trying to think of other teams that are good at this. Ardent, if you watch them, Invincible Armada, they know exactly what to do. You clear the wave, and you go back. You don't need a lot of damage. When they engaged right there, Skye was nearly dead. She missed her death from above, and then effectively was out of the fight. That's not the fight that you need right now for WEV.
No, absolutely not. But GankStars not over pursuing this. They know that now the wave can go all the way into WEV's base. So you can play pretty conservatively at this stage and still turn this into a win. Aegis now done for Rocky Zoro. That's definitely what he needed to win the poke wars against this Celeste.
Yeah, really nice pickup there for Rocky Zoro. He doesn't really need more damage right now. Once he gets 6 stacks of Broken Myth, he's essentially good. You guys saw how much damage that ultimate did there. 1 shot, 1 kill. Nearly, I think it was like over half the health of Celeste there. So I think a good choice there to pick up that Aegis.
So here we go again, flare in the brush, and here comes the Warhorn. They're just going to go for it, caught inside the base, and there's the Gauntlet going down to Rocky Zoro, just playing on the outside, trying to poke over this wall right now. Liege attempting to kite this out with the forward barrage, but here come the kills. Koldemeek grabs 1. He has a tension bow and a breaking point, so he is doing an enormous amount of damage. And very good positioning from a Rocky Zoro, not only in terms of his positioning within the Gauntlet, but on the other side of the wall too. Really no way to deal with him, raining those glimmer shots over the side.
Yeah, fantastic position there. And Koldemeek right now extremely farmed up, picks up a heavy steel as well. With the Warhorn, doesn't really need an upgrade on the boots. And you can really just see the amount of havoc he's causing in that front line. Shout-outs to Gabe as well. The Gauntlets have been fantastic this game. I don't think he's missed a single one. And he pretty consistently catches both Celeste and Skye in them.
Yeah, you take a look right here. It's just nothing you can do against a Rocky Zoro. Another questionable death from above. Coming in from Liege, not really doing any damage or hitting anyone. And certainly not going to be saving his teammate in that regard. 10 seconds until Kraken spawn right now. Another Warhorn. GameStars doesn't have Gauntlet right now. So I think that's one thing that I've noticed about GankStars when they play with Arden. They sometimes overcommit when the Gauntlet isn't up, and you see situations where they take 4 trades like that. Only going to go in, he will get stunned by Catherine. He's going to knock Mango right back into the wall, however. Gabe getting very low, will go ahead and pop his reflex block to stay alive for the moment. Turns around, picks up 1 kill. Rocky Zoro now here trying to chase Mango and Liege. They're on the wrong side of the map, and goodbye. Koldemeek takes that last kill for the ace, and now they can just push straight in. Yeah. And they may be able to win the game here. They've got about 15 seconds until the carries are back up, and it looks like that'll probably be enough time.
Yeah, it should be enough. They're all at full health here. Still got those infusions ticking. Gonna decide to play it safe.
That is very safe.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic idea. Consider the gold lead right now is 10K. Think about 8% of 10K. 10% is 1,000, yeah, so
800.
800. So 800 gold would be the bounty for killing
right.
one hero.
Basically a turret.
On GankStars. Yeah, it's basically a turret except for one person, you know? So you cannot afford to lose a team fight at this point right now.
Yeah. See the Kestrel coming through. Really pretty low cooldown on that, but no attempt at a crack, and WEV will clear out some scout traps as they loop back around through that side of the jungle. GankStars looking to pick up this Kraken and finish the game. Rocky Zoro going to engage with active camo, and here we go. Puit gets the stun onto Gabe Vizzle. That's not who you wanted to stun right there. Koldemeek stunned himself by the Skye ultimate. Does take a lot of damage. There's the first one. Solar Storm not going to be enough to finish Koldemeek off. Liege has to retreat, and now they're on the run. Mango gets obliterated by Koldemeek, and they're going to turn around, take the minion miner, and then go straight for this Kraken.
But again, that's a really interesting note. I think GankStars is eventually going to win this game, but consider that now that Skye and Celeste are finally beginning to get some items, you can see how they may have been able to win this game had they played a bit more passively and waited until, you know, after 20 minutes and after maybe they get 3 or 4 items by that time. The engages are getting much more even every single time. Unfortunately, I think WEV was a little bit too aggressive, and now the Kraken's out. They've only got one turret. This hold is going to be near impossible.
It certainly will be. Especially as we see Iraqi Zoro rapidly approaching a full build, has refreshed his Crystal Power Infusion. So has that consumable to do a little bit more damage. And here we go, here comes the poke from Kestrel. WEV deciding to try and deal with this Kraken first and delay with a death from above. We'll buy them a little bit of time, but now GankStars is going to go all in. There's the gauntlet, and it's going to get canceled, actually. Nice cancel from Puit with the stun. Liege now trying to kite, but they're going to get one turret. Kraken still has to be dealt with right here. Kraken is getting low. Iraqi Zoro trying to finish this game off. They're going to get it. Vayne Crystal falls, and that's going to be a 2-0 win and a third place finish for GankStars.